You are, and go ahead and ask your question.
Hi.
Identify yourself.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lee Fong from the Republic Report. The 2012 election is shaping up to be just as much about the undue influence of lobbyists, just as much about the economy. You see this from the rhetoric of Occupy Wall Street to the attack ads from Romney against Gingrich. So my question is for Anita Dunn. You have a lot of access to the president, from advising his campaign to regular visits to the White House. Do you think it's a little bit disingenuous that you're simultaneously being paid by a lot of corporations to lobby against his reforms, specifically on childhood obesity and predatory for-profit colleges?
Okay, go.
Okay, well, I'd like to start by saying that I'm not a lobbyist. I never have been a registered lobbyist, and I do public relations. And the reality...
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is, and I should also say to my friend over here, that my cooling off period from the White House, because this president has instituted some of the strongest ethical reforms of any president ever, means that I actually don't talk to anybody in this administration about any issue where I'm doing public relations. For 2 years after I left the White House, because as White House communications director, I was actually involved in so many issues that it's not possible to say, oh, I'm going to wall off this area. So I actually don't talk to anybody in the White House. And I do work with people, and I do work with nonprofits, and I work with some corporations, because the fact of the matter is we're in a democracy, and there's a dialogue, and people have a right to be heard. And the fact of the matter is that most of the time when I work with people, they have a story to be told, and we tell it. Now, this president has done things that allow my friend over here to say, well, I'm a regular visitor to the White House. Why? Because part of the move of this White House towards transparency is to make sure that anybody can go on anytime and see who's visiting the White House. It sounds like a small thing, but it isn't, because it means that there's a greater degree of transparency and accountability. This White House, by and large, has shut down the revolving door, because people who leave the White House cannot lobby this administration on issues that they worked on while they were inside the administration. This White House and this campaign don't take money from registered lobbyists. Now, these are not rules that Congress applies to itself. As we move forward in our political process, I think one thing you will see is that voters will continue to demand greater transparency from everybody. And if you look right now at Governor Romney's kind of flailing around on whether he's going to release his tax returns, the reality is that politicians aren't going to have a choice about transparency much longer in this country, because voters expect it of them.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just say, for future questions, I'd like to start with the mayors.